In Naomi Klein's book, On Fire, an argument that stood out to me was that the lack of global concern is only possible by othering. By designating someone as the other or separate from you or the majority, it opens way for destruction of culture, homelands, and permanent occupation. These arguments can be most readily seen in her chapter, Let Them Drown, where her lecture builds upon Edward Said's studying of the other.
Oh, hello everyone. Today I'll be reading from On Fire, page 155. He was, of course, a giant in the study of othering, what is described in his 1978 book of Orientalism as disregarding, essentializing, and denuding the humanity of another culture, people, or geographical region. And once the other has been firmly established, the ground is softened for any transgression, violent expulsion, land theft, occupation, invasion. Page 156. The thing about fossil fuels is that they are so inherently dirty and toxic that they require sacrificial people and places. As recently as the 1970s, scientists advising the U.S. government openly referred to certain parts of the country being designated national sacrifice areas.
To take some of my own direction, I'm going to open Klein's arguments that she laid out in the book and expand them to supporting a social movement, one that I personally advocate for as well, Land Back. Land Back centralizes around the urgency for Native peoples to reconnect with the land that was stolen from them when they were colonized. For some, this may mean the literal return of land, and to others, it might mean the right to exist and enact cultural practices regularly on the land they were meant to be on. Even though I am Native Hawaiian, it is with respect that I occupy the land on Oahu, and the Land Back movement is central to my beliefs. As for Naomi Klein, I can't speak for her personally, of course, but I'd like to think that she'd also support this movement.
Page 125. With every human migration, more crucial connections to specific places are lost, leaving yet fewer people with the tools to listen closely to the land. As you can see, Klein is a big supporter of having native lands in native hands. She even states in her section about her own climate change program, LEAP. Page 178. We resolved that if we were going to radically change our economy to make it a lot cleaner in the face of climate change catastrophe, then we had to seize this opportunity to make it a lot fairer at the same time on all these different forms. That way, nobody was being asked to choose between which existential threat mattered most to them. Page 180. LEAP states that Indigenous peoples and others on the front lines of polluting industrial activity should be first to receive public support for their own clean energy project. Page 251. The humility to learn from Indigenous teachings about the duties for future generations and the interconnection of all life appears to be humanity's best shot at collective survival.
Thanks, Nee. I believe that Naomi Klein's argument for othering and designated sacrifice zones can be applied and used to further argue the Land Back movement.